Good morning, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join us today on our Why Should I Apply event. My name is Olivia Corby. I am a board member and also an alumni of the class of 2010. Just a couple of housekeeping things. You'll notice that you're all muted at this time. We will unmute you so that you can ask questions at the end. Laurie and a few of us will stay on for an extra few minutes after the official program to answer any questions that may come up. Other than that, I hope that after hearing this program, you feel compelled to apply. It's a great program, and I'm sure you've heard a lot about it if you're joining us today, and if not, that's what this is for. So I will turn it over to Brian Bouchard. He is our current board chair.
Thank you. Thanks for everybody for being here this morning. My name is Brian Bouchard. I'm the current chair of the board for Leadership Seacoast. I am also a partner at Sheehan, Finney, Bass & Green, which is the underwriting sponsor for the program this year. So a few notes about each organization. First, as the underwriting sponsor, Sheehan, Finney, we're a law firm located here in New Hampshire. We do everything from patent prosecution, the management of trademark portfolios, real estate acquisitions, healthcare law, in my practice area, which focuses on civil litigation and labor and employment disputes. We have offices across the state with a new office opening in Portsmouth in January of 2021. And we, as the firm, are thrilled to be the underwriting sponsor for Leadership this year. Being involved and connected with our community is fundamental to us, and there is no greater touchstone of the Seacoast area than Leadership Seacoast. I often joke, especially at this time of year, the recruiting time of year, to members of my board that if you're a professional in the Seacoast area, whether you're a professional in the education sector, government sector, not-for-profit sector, business sector, whatever it is, if you're a professional in the Seacoast area and you have not done Leadership Seacoast, you are not yet a professional in the Seacoast area. And the reason I make that joke is that Leadership Seacoast offers a way of discovering and connecting to the people, the institutions, the businesses, the not-for-profits, the networks in this area that is simply unparalleled. The program we offer is profound, and we offer access to the ideas and the people in the Seacoast that move and shape the Seacoast in a way that is beneficial to any professional living or working here. So with that, I'm going to turn you over to Susan Geyer, who is the program chair or co-chair for our program committee at Leadership Seacoast. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Brian. So good morning, everybody. My name is Susan Geyer, and I am a board member, just starting my second term. I am a Leadership Seacoast class of 2016, and I have been on the program committee since I graduated. I love the program so much. I got involved and I've continued to be involved, and Brian is absolutely right. The Seacoast program is one of the best. I wish I had done it sooner. It is a tremendous networking and just an amazing way to get to know the people and the issues and what's happening and how things are connected in and around the Seacoast. So I just want to give you a little bit of an overview, just some nuts and bolts about the program. You, if selected, you apply, you get selected, you're part of a class, and for 6 months, you meet together and you work and you learn together, and you have issues that you explore. There's a program theme for every day: arts and culture, education, environment, economic development, all kinds of things over the course of 6 months. You meet in small groups. You break out and you hear from experts. You hear from people living and working and are affected by the things that are happening in the Seacoast. And I think it's a tremendous opportunity to really kind of dig in and connect with the people in your class. You really get to know them and you get to know the issues. You discover all of the things that are happening in and around the Seacoast in a way that I think is really, I don't know that there's any other way you can do it. I think there's a lot of people who've gone through these programs or gone through the programs over the years and have realized, like, gosh, I've lived here, I've worked here. I had no idea all of these things were happening in and around me. So the goal of our program is to not only that you now have this tremendous network, that you've met these folks in your class, in all of these different professions and organizations that are working and living in the Seacoast. But at the end of it, the goal is for you to take action, to be inspired, to get involved. It is, we've had folks run for office. We've had people join government boards, nonprofits, start nonprofits, do all kinds of things. It really is up to you. It's an experiential program where you really get to get hands-on and try different things, learn different things, see different things, and hopefully have your eyes open. And so with that, I think we are going to talk about the different program days that we have. And the first one, which we are starting this year in March, we're pushing things back a little bit due to COVID. We are going to be starting in March at the Brown Center, which is part of UNH. So the Brown Center, for those of you who are not familiar with it, is a place where you will do a lot of team building and networking events on your first day with this class of folks that you probably haven't met. And it's a way for you guys to connect, to get to know each other, and to really start learning about New Hampshire and the Seacoast, and just a good way to get you started, to get you connected, and to get you going on this 6-month journey that you'll have. There are indoor and outdoor events, and we're hoping that we'll be able to do in-person things, maybe a hybrid, but that's the goal. And so the next program day that we have is Health and Human Services Day, and I will turn it over to Jessica Parker.
Hi, everyone. I am Jessica Parker. I'm a member of the program committee and a member of the class of 2019 for Leadership Seacoast. I'd like to start off by asking you all a question, doing a quick poll. So the question is, what is the largest state agency in the New Hampshire state government? Is it Department of Health and Human Services, Department of Education, or Department of Labor? So while you're answering that, I will tell you a little bit about Health and Human Services Day. It's been held at Wentworth Douglas Hospital, the McConnell Center, and Riverwoods in the past. The learning objectives for Health and Human Services Day include providing the class an expanded understanding of the network of social services in the area, and through experiential learning to deepen the understanding of the barriers to access that people in the community experience. So the discussions primarily focus on mental health and substance misuse disorders. I want to say that my biggest takeaway from this day, there were a few, but I really just enjoyed hearing from experts in the field. Tim Rourke, who is the director of New Hampshire Tomorrow at the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation, and really an expert in his field, spoke about substance use disorders in New Hampshire. That really hit home for me, and the work that I do, and learning about the prevalence of adverse childhood experiences. You may have heard of ACEs and trauma, and exploring how those connect between mental health issues and addiction was really eye-opening. And I also really enjoyed hearing from a former New Hampshire Chief Justice, John Broderick, who works to break the stigma of mental health by sharing his family's personal journey. So we can go back and look at those poll results now. Looks like 97% had the correct answer, which is Department of Health and Human Services. So now I'm gonna turn this over to Ben Van Camp, who is going to tell you a little bit about Economic Development Day.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here and taking this first step on this great journey. My name is Ben Van Camp. My day job, I work at the Chamber of Commerce in Portsmouth, and I'm here to talk about Economic Development Day, a topic that's very near and dear to my heart as a chamber person. We do have another poll. You're going to see a theme developing here. Name the region's largest employer whose home is in Durham, New Hampshire. Seeing tremendous downtown redevelopment in this area. Is it UNH, Timberland, or Liberty Mutual? Go ahead and do that. And as you're doing that, I'm going to continue on. Economic Development Day is really a phenomenal day that really shares how communities get shaped. We explore, communities as they make decisions about should they build housing, or should they build a strip mall, or how do they best really shape their communities? And it really is very fundamental as to like our day in and day out lives here on the Seacoast. So this day has been held in Newmarket in the past, in Somersworth and Hampton, and really we bring it to a community that is really doing some unique things in economic development. You get to hear from people that are making these decisions, the economic development directors in their communities, elected officials in those communities. I really enjoyed hearing from Will Arvello, who's the Director of Economic Development for the state of New Hampshire. We've had Commissioner Taylor Caswell from the BEA. So you really hear from developers to state and local leaders as well. So it's just a really phenomenal day where you can explore all these issues such as transportation, affordable housing, and all these critical things as to how our communities are shaped. I think you'll get a lot out of this day and all the other days. So let's see the poll results. All right. UNH is the largest employer in the region, followed very closely by Liberty Mutual, I believe. So you weren't too far off there. But great. Thanks again for being here. I'm going to turn it over to Astrid to share a bit more about Education Day. You're muted, Astrid.
I always forget that. One day I'll get that. Good morning. My name is Astrid. I'm in the class of 2015, and I am currently the past chair of the board of directors, which was a great honor to serve the organization in that capacity and to still be part of it. I am the executive director of Zebra Crossings, which is a nonprofit based in Dover. And I think, just like many people said, I have gained so much in the networking and just broadening my lens on what is going on in the Seacoast. Education Day, we have a poll for Education Day. What is the overall annual economic impact of the community college system on the state of New Hampshire? Is it 500 million, 1 billion, or 2 billion? About Education Day, we have held Education Day at a variety of facilities. We've been to Spalding High School, Seacoast School of Technology, Exeter Area High School, all programs that have a great alternative program, and which was one of my greatest learnings. I really had lost touch with what the education system is offering, and learned so much about what is the framework for education in New Hampshire, what happens around early childhood education, and the whole pathway to non-traditional learning, higher education, as well as topics of the role of school boards, or topics how mental health is addressed in the schools. So a full day with many topics, and definitely very meaningful learning and discoveries, and great interaction as well with the students. The poll result, let's look at that. The answer is 1 billion. So well done, 56%, tough question. We'll pass it on next to Nicole.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nicole Rutherford. I am the Vice President at the Seacoast Science Center. I am part of the class of 2014. I'm a brand new board member, and I'm also part of the program committee. Let's start with a fun poll. So NOAA estimates New Hampshire's sea level will rise 6 inches, 1 foot, or 2 feet by 2050. So the Environmental Day has happened in a few different places: Seacoast Science Center, Great Bay Discovery Center, and the Urban Forestry Center, all of which are beautiful places to explore nature and learn about all the great habitats on the Seacoast. During this program day, participants examine the impact of climate change, both globally and locally, as well as the environmental changes in marine life, water standards, and what shifts can be made on a personal level to reduce our carbon footprint. Despite the fact that I come from the Seacoast Science Center, I learned a ton on this day because I'm hearing from a bunch of wonderful experts. One of my favorites was Dr. Cameron Wake, who is a climate change scientist from UNH. I always learn a ton from him, which is a little scary. So let's go to the poll. The answer is 2 feet, which, think about that if you live right on the coast, what your house might look like in 2050. So I'm going to pass this along to Zach Little, who's going to talk to you a little bit about Arts and Culture Day.
Hello. Hello. All right. So, Arts and Culture Day. We got a poll question. Let's start with a poll question. This one's a little like, it's sort of Jeopardy-esque the way it's worded, which I think is nice. R.I.P. Alex Trebek. A neighborhood in Portsmouth that is home to multiple artisans, theater groups, music teachers, radio stations, and businesses with a creative focus is named. So, Arts and Culture Day has been held in the past at, oh, by the way, I'm Zach Little. I work for Kennebunk Savings, and I'm on the program committee for Leadership Seacoast. Anything Laurie asks me to do, I do, basically. And that will continue, I think, for a long time. So, we've held Arts and Culture Day in the past at places like PMAC, Seacoast Rep, the Music Hall. And what it's about is, you hear from local artists and advocates and, politicians who are really into the arts, historical preservationists, architects. And so sort of the first main point is that it's about the way that the arts are a huge economic driver on the Seacoast, which probably shouldn't be a surprise to everybody, but I think the actual dollar value you can put on the arts in this region is gonna blow your mind. But the other thing that it's about is it's about how the arts can shape understanding of social issues. I remember another Leadership Seacoast alum, Robert Zapiro, he said that art can help people hear things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to hear, and it gives them the words to talk about something that they otherwise wouldn't be able to say. And I think that particularly after you've gone through a few program days, to see the way that the arts can help illustrate these issues you've learned about, it's a big deal. So I'm pretty, oh, look, we got our poll results already. All right, 76% got it, West End, that's right. I'm also on the board of directors for the New Hampshire Theater Project, which is right there in the West End. So I was happy to see the West End represented in this trivia question. Yeah, so I didn't think that I would have a ton to learn about the arts, and I was right, I already knew all of it. I'm kidding, I learned a lot. I learned so much. And I actually joined that New Hampshire Theater Project Board of Directors as literally a direct result of the scavenger hunt that you do during Arts and Culture Day, which feels a little weird to say as an adult, like a major part of my life was determined because of a scavenger hunt, but that is the kind of thing that's gonna happen to you in Leadership Seacoast. And I also think that Arts and Culture Day is gonna be particularly profound for the class of 2021 because the arts sector was the hardest hit by the pandemic. And so all of us are going to really have to play a role in rebuilding that part of our community. And yeah, it might not be as fun at Arts and Culture Day next time. It might be closer to that environmental, but I'm excited for what you will learn. I'm passing it on to who next? Mike?
Yeah. Hey,
All
good
right.
morning. Yeah, thank you, Zach. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Palzinski, and I'm a member of the class of 2011, and I've been on the admissions committee with Leadership Seacoast pretty much for all of that time, and I'm happy to continue on with that. And right now, I work at an organization called SubMep, which is a naval tenant activity on Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, and we develop long-range maintenance for all submarines in the U.S. fleet. But I want to talk about Government Day a little bit. But first, we'll start with a quick poll question like everyone else. So if you went to elementary school in Dover, there's probably a song about this, but how many counties are there in New Hampshire? Okay, so what are the objectives of the Government Day? So first of all, it's held in different locations. It could be at the Exeter Town Hall. We were fortunate, and I think it's happened quite a bit, right at the State House over in Concord, and we actually got to spend some good quality time with Governor Lynch at the time. But you're going to learn about the legislative process in New Hampshire, the ease of access to that process, the importance of individual adequacy, and you'll learn a deeper understanding of priority and funding for critical issues. So some of the common takeaways that you'll have, and this hits home with me, is getting involved where you can, whether it be a local board or something at the state level. For instance, I was just one of the selectmen for the primary and the general election here in Dover, which was really eye-opening, and really makes you feel good being a United States citizen. So it's awesome that way. So a lot of takeaways, a lot of chances to get involved. So that, this is going to be a great program day when you get to meet all the people that are making decisions and that sort of thing. And, it'll really motivate you to get involved. So now we'll just switch over to the quick poll results. And 50% say 10, and yep, that's correct. All right, so now we'll switch over to Melissa for Criminal Justice Day. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Melissa Lesniak here. I'm a local realtor with Keller Williams Coastal Realty. I'm also past president of the Rotary Club of Dover. I was a member and graduate of the class of 2009 and currently a member of the Leadership Program Committee, which helps you with these days that you're hearing us talk about. Let's start it off about Criminal Justice Day with a quick poll. So let's see, what court is available for offenders with substance abuse, combining community-based treatment programs with strict court supervision and promoting compliance with treatment? Is it alternative court, district court, or drug court? And while you answer that, I'll tell you a little bit about the Criminal Justice Day. So during Criminal Justice Day, during my time that was there, we learned about, and you will too, what's provided you with a holistic view of the drug and mental health courts in New Hampshire, and also to bring along the interconnectedness of social issues, mental health, and substance abuse with the high levels of those being incarcerated at the Stratford County complex. So with that, a takeaway that I had as a participant back in 2009 and also as an alumni was I have a criminal justice background, and participating through this, it was amazing to see what systems and also programs are available here right in Stratford County with those time being served in that complex. So let's take a look at the program poll results, and it looks like 44% did choose drug court, which was the correct answer. So good job, you guys. With that, I'm going to turn you over to Kim Lindquist, and Kim is going to talk about closing day.
Great. Good morning, everybody. As Melissa said, my name is Kim Lindquist. I am the Director of Events and Marketing for the Exeter Area Chamber of Commerce. I also have the pleasure of serving on the Board of Directors for Leadership Seacoast, as well as the Program Committee Co-Chair. So I'm really happy to see all your faces here today to learn more about this wonderful program that we're all telling you about. So closing day, we've held this at the Seacoast Science Center. We did that in 2018, is the class that I graduated with, and it was such a great day. The day is designed to bring everyone together one final time to reflect on all the program days that we've told you about, explore how the issues are connected, and now that you know what the issues are, what your next steps are going to be, and how you're going to get involved with your local communities and take on one of the issues that we talk about throughout Leadership Seacoast. My biggest takeaway was from when we did the activity for the leadership, tokens of leadership. It was great to not only reflect on how the program had touched me and all the feelings I was feeling on closing day with everything ending and what I had learned, but it was also great to see how it affected my entire class and how everybody was really affected by the program and how it all affected us differently, but everything was all interconnected at the end of the day. So it's such a wonderful way to wrap up and really see that we're all in this together, and we need to band together to take on these issues that affect the Seacoast. So again, thank you for being here today. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lisa Kessler, who's going to give us some thoughts on how her experience has been with Leadership Seacoast.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. I really, really appreciate it. Hi, my name is Lisa Kessler. I'm a local business owner. I own Kessler Insurance Agency in Newmarket. And I'm also privileged to be able to say I'm part of the class of 2020 that is just about to take advantage or participate in the closing day activities that Kim just talked about. So I can't wait to get those experiences. I'm sure they'll be completely different than I imagined and even better than I can imagine. So I'm excited. But I wanted to share with you some recent takeaways that sort of will package up, I think, what a lot of people have been saying to you. And I have three things that sort of strike me when I look back on my leadership experience already. The first is really learning about the connections between the different contingencies in our community and how one topic from one day truly impacts and is connected to the other. You kind of get that in your real world, existence, living in the community, working in the community, but you don't really realize the detail of it, and you don't really realize the impact these different topics really make on each other. And I found that applicable both to my personal life and my business life in really unexpected ways. It was fantastic. The second really great takeaway for me wasn't just the education, but it was the people. The connections that you make in your class and with the speakers helps really give you new perspectives on these topics. And that was really a wonderful, additional benefit, is to build these new connections in a way on topics that are really meaningful, and truly build friendships and build opportunities to work together. A wonderful byproduct too, which is something that probably people don't talk about, is the value of those connections enriching your personal and professional lives. That has absolutely happened to me. And these factors combined for me, my particular example, combined to allow me to create me and actually one of my classmates worked together to create a new opportunity for awareness and inspiration. So what we were able to do is when we left, we were actually getting together after one of our days of topics, and we were talking about how inspired we were. And it caused us to talk a little bit about the importance of the nonprofits that exist in our community, and how we really wish there was more awareness and more opportunity to make a bigger impact as an individual on those nonprofits. So what we did is we built this little awareness campaign called Cheers for Charity New Hampshire. And originally the idea was supposed to be, let's have a get together once a month, feature a local nonprofit, let's all get together, share some drinks, share some food, bring someone in from the nonprofit, build awareness, and if people want to donate, everyone can give a couple dollars and it will sort of roll up into something meaningful. We did it once before COVID for Haven at someone's house. We actually did this with Joanne Burchuk. She's my partner in crime on this. She's also a member of class of 2020. And we were able to build awareness for Haven. Within 2 hours, build $550 in donations and get them a volunteer. So we thought that was fantastic, just our little way to make an impact. Then COVID hit, so we had to pivot like everybody else. And we switched it to a video series where we interview local nonprofits. And to date, we have interviewed 33 local nonprofits since March. And our goal is to share the word about a total of at least 50 within a year. So it's just our way of building awareness and celebrating those people who are doing good in a really difficult time. And none of this would have happened without Leadership Seacoast. So we owe this participation, this organization a lot for our inspiration and our ability to try to give back in a way that's super meaningful to us and super fun. So if anyone wants to talk to me more about my experience, I'm very happy to share my recent experience with leadership. It's been really inspirational. And that's it. So Miss Laurie, you're up next.
Hi, everybody. My name is Laurie Waltz-Gagnon, and I am the Executive Director of Leadership Seacoast. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Obviously these are unprecedented times, and we would love to be in person so that this interaction and getting to know you could be not over a computer, but given what circumstances we're in, this is how we're doing it. So thank you to everybody who's already spoken this morning. I get so excited when I hear how excited you all are about your experience in Leadership Seacoast. So it just fills my cup. So I want to talk to you quickly this morning about a few things logistically, and then we're going to open it up for question and answer. First, I want to mention to you that everything that I'm about to say is information that's available on our website, which is www.leadershipseacoast.org. I wanted to give you an idea about the program timeline first. Because of the pandemic, we have decided to start the class of 2021 a little bit later in the year than we would typically. So in 2021, the start date for the class will be March 3rd. We're doing that with the hopes that we will be in a better situation in terms of COVID, and that we will be able to deliver the program in person as we have always done and always will do our best to do. If we're unable to meet in person, we are fully prepared to be able to deliver virtually. But we're hoping that by pushing the start date out a bit, we'll be able to be in person and travel around the region to these different spaces. So over the course of 6 months, from March to July, you will meet 9 times. The first day, opening day, and the last day, closing day, are structured a little bit differently, but those 7 days in between will focus on one of the topics that you just heard about. And then once you get to closing day, which will be July 28th, we will celebrate with a graduation immediately following. Each program day does begin at 8 a.m. and ends at 4:30, so that's the time that you should be carving out in your calendars. Specific dates for the class are available on our website, so be sure to check there. Because it is important that you are in attendance at every day. We understand that life happens and you are allowed to be have an excused absence twice in those 6 months. However, it cannot be on opening day and it cannot be on closing day. But if you have to miss a day, you can miss one of those 7 in between, or 2 of those 7 in between. The application process and the application itself is available on our website. It all is done online. The deadline to apply this year is January 1st of 2021. There is a $30 fee to apply, which is non-refundable. In terms of tuition, we have 2 tiers of tuition. So if you are someone that works for a corporate, a business, a for-profit organization, your tuition is going to be $1,800. If you work for a nonprofit, a government agency, or are self-employed, your tuition would be $1,500. So we do provide 2 tiers of tuition. We also provide scholarships or tuition assistance, which is something that you have to apply for. Thanks to the generosity of classes that have gone before, we do have some funding available. We do make a request that there is some financial contribution from you yourself as a commitment to the program. We are not able to fund 100%, but based upon the number of applications that we receive and the funding that we have available, we will do our best to meet your needs. We don't want there to be a financial barrier for anyone to participate in this program. Lastly, I just want to mention that this session this morning has been recorded, so we are going to make this something that you can view later or share with other friends, colleagues that you know that you think might be interested in the program. So you'll be receiving an email from me with a link to this recording, and I'm also going to send you just like a one-sheeter that you might want to share with your employer if you're looking for their support to participate in this program. It sort of lays out the benefits that employers have reported back to us that by supporting their employees to participate in the program, not only is the employee feeling valued by the employer, but the employer is getting an employee that comes back with all these new skills and knowledge and connections. So that might be something helpful for you to share with your employer. And I'm about to sneeze, so I'm going to turn it over to question and answers. Excuse me. So if you have any questions, now is the time. We've got like the next till 8:45, 8:50 to just listen to what you have to say and answer any questions you have. And you just feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Thank you for saying bless you, Tom. I'm going to change my view so I can see you all. Okay.
You have to, I was given an introduction to this by somebody else as sponsored. If you know of somebody, if I know of somebody that might also benefit, but I've never been a participant, can they join? Can they apply?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so that's a really good question. Sometimes that is misleading. So we ask our alumni to nominate people that they know that might be interested in applying to the program. But you do not have to be nominated to apply to the program. Anyone can apply. You can also nominate yourself. It is not a requirement in the process. And even in the evaluation of applications, it doesn't really, it doesn't have really a weight to it. All it simply means is that the person that came through knows an alumni. So if we had questions about, you know, as we're reviewing the application, if we had any questions, we could go to that alumni and say, hey, so you know Joe Schmo, and you know, could you tell us a little bit more? But it doesn't really have a weight to it, and it's not required. Other questions?
Yeah, hi Laurie, this is Paul. I know that obviously there are 9 days in that 6-month period you're committed to. Could you talk a little bit about what the expectations are, what happens in between those 9 days?
Yes,
please?
Excellent question. So at the close of each day, we talk about what's coming next, right? So at the close of opening day, we will be preparing for Health and Human Services Day. And there's typically 2 to 3 weeks between each program day. And in those 2 to 3 weeks, you will receive from me what we call enrichment materials. So whether it is an article, a podcast, a briefing, a policy report, a TED Talk, you'll receive information to help prepare yourself for that upcoming day so that you have some base of knowledge. Some people, as they come into the program, might know a ton about health and human services, but have no idea what economic development looks like. So the goal there, the objective is to give everybody some sort of base of understanding so that when they come to that program day, they're kind of relatively starting from the same place. In addition to that, at the close of each program day, you will be asked to divide up into groups, and then you would self-organize yourselves. So say the class is 30 people, maybe we have 6 groups of 5. I'm really bad at math. It's 6 times 5, 30. And you would determine a date and a time that you would meet independently so that you could talk about what you just learned and then also talk about the program day that's upcoming. And that really, the goal there is to allow you to have a little bit more time to connect and get to know each other. These program days are chocked full, and it's sometimes difficult for people to, you know, really the only times you're going to have personal conversations and get to know someone might be at lunch or after the program day. After each program day, we do have a social that is scheduled and organized by our alumni committee. So it's not a mandatory requirement that you attend the social, but that is a nice time for you to be able to connect with your classmates and also some alumni. So yeah, there is some work that goes on in between those program days. Did that answer your question, Paul?
It did, yes. Thanks so much, Laurie.
You're welcome. Would there be anything like a sibling discount for those of us who apply with a colleague from the same nonprofit? Oh, well, we've never had a sibling discount before. I imagine, you know, you could probably put forward a request on your scholarship application to explain what the situation is, and we would certainly take a look at it. I don't know if it's something that we would be able to honor, but we would certainly review it and do our best to be able to meet your needs. Other questions?
Olivia, who did that painting behind you?
Actually, it's a local artist.
See, I thought maybe it was.
Her name is Heather Chantos, and she did this and a few others in my house. And I think I mentioned at Health and Human Services Arts and Culture Day one time that I collect a lot of local art. So this is one of those pieces. Got to support the local arts.
That's right.
Hey, Laurie, I'm curious, is there any type of diversity, equity, inclusion discussion that happens through any of these days? Because, you know, we're a real white group here, which, you know, is kind of like welcome to New Hampshire. But at the same time, I just think this is a really big topic and a big issue that the Seacoast is trying to lead from the front on. And I think different groups are doing different things, but I'm curious where the intersectionality is with the day topics. Is that something that's been discussed?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for asking that question. When the pandemic came along, we had paused programming for the class of 2020. As we all know, at the same time, there was a lot of divisiveness across the nation, and these conversations of diversity, equity, and inclusion that had been conversations that needed to happen for a long time really started to rise to the surface of like, let's talk about this like right now. So we did hold this is the core program that you're all interested in. Another program that Leadership Seacoast operates is a grad school program, which we have this year sort of transitioned into a community forum. So our grad school program really was just what it sounds like. It was open to alumni, and they were sort of like mini program days where we would dive a little bit deeper into a topic that had been covered during the core program. But as we discovered that we needed to talk more about racial equity, diversity, and inclusion, we realized we didn't want that to be exclusive to just Leadership Seacoast alumni. We wanted that to be something that we could open up to the whole community. So in August, we did a series on gender and racial equity, and we had 4 panelists that joined us to talk about that. In December, we are hosting another community forum that's going to talk about abilities and disabilities and access there too. And then there's going to be 3 to 4 more in the calendar year of 2021 that really focus on just what you're talking about, diversity, equity, and inclusion. That being said, the program committee is also charged with ensuring that we are weaving in the theme of diversity, equity, inclusion to our program days. So while it might not be, what's the word I want to use? It might not be a program day itself, those themes will be woven in. I hope I answered that well.
Yeah, Laurie, actually someone just chimed in on the chat and said the same thing, that you know, it's certainly a thread through all of the issues that are discussed. But Crystal, I think you bring up a good point. One of the missions of Leadership Seacoast is to continue to, you know, rise to these social issues as they become more highlighted. And this is a perfect example of how we need to maybe have more intentionality around that. And certainly something that as a board, we consider even more so now. So thank you for bringing it up. I think you will see there is natural spots where it comes up, but I think more intentionality around that would be good.
And just from the program standpoint, I would say that we try very hard to make sure that the folks that we bring in, and whether they're alumni or leaders in the community, and that really do reflect a variety of experiences, of backgrounds, all of those things. And I think also too, we believe that as Leadership Seacoast and who we are and what we do, we really need to be leading conversation around these things, you know, bringing people together to talk about things that maybe they haven't talked about before. So it is very much something that it is top of mind for sure, but at the same time, always something we're working on. Absolutely. So thank you for raising that.
I just have another logistical question. You said that the deadline for applying was 1/1, and then how quickly do you turn that around to let people know so they know if they are committing to those days or not?
Yeah, good question. So as soon as the applications are received, there's a review committee that reviews them. They would put forth their recommendation for the class to the board for the January board meeting, which is held the third Friday of the month. So we would anticipate that you would be finding out by the earlier part of February, so that you would have at least a month to sort of prepare anything that you needed to get in order before the program would launch on March, what did I say, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, something like that, early March. So I just wanted to make note that it is a little bit past the time that we had scheduled for this session. If you have to go, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. And please feel free to reach out to me or anybody who is on the board of directors or on one of our committees with questions. I'm happy to stick around for a little bit longer if anybody wants to stay on. But absolutely don't hesitate to reach out with questions. And I really, really do hope you apply. I think 2021 is going to be a great year. No better time to get civically engaged than now.
Laurie, it looks like there are a few more questions coming through the chat. It says, what size is the class? And the class, I'll let you answer that, Laurie, because it varies.
So yeah, it does vary. So we have traditionally, it's grown over the years. The organization has been around for just over 30 years now. In the past few years, we've had class sizes around 40. We are going to reduce that for the class of 2021 and cap it at 30. In case we have to be indoors and there's limitations, and it's much easier to find venues that are that can accommodate 30 people rather than 40 people. So lots of reasons around that, but that's what we're looking at for 2021. Any other questions that are come through in the chat that I didn't see?
Laurie, could you just mention the actual website?
Yeah, www.leadershipseacoast.org.
Good morning, Laurie. Question for you. Is the Leadership Seacoast part of a national organization, or is this a unique organization? I'm familiar with it from a number of familiar faces here, but I don't know the background.
I love answering this question because I find it fascinating. So thank you for asking. So Leadership Seacoast is an independent organization. There are about 3,000 organizations like us across the country. And it was really like this grassroots sort of idea that just spread. And it's wild to me that there isn't like a, the national organization that many of us belong to, they don't govern us. It's just for us to be able to talk to each other and learn what other people are doing in other parts of the country. But it was wild to me when I learned that there are organizations across the country that are literally doing the same thing, like Economic Development Day, Health and Human Services Day, Government Day, and it all just sort of happened organically. So you will find that there are other organizations across the state that are, most of them are affiliated with the Chamber of Commerce and Leadership Seacoast, and I believe I think the Lakes region might be independent, and Leadership New Hampshire, which follows the same design as Leadership Seacoast, is an independent organization, and they do just what we do, but on a statewide level. So yeah, so like I said, there's lots of other organizations around the country that are doing the same thing, and what a tremendous benefit it has been over the past 11 months to be able to connect with other executive directors and organizations that are trying to figure out, like, whoa, we have built our entire model on meeting in person and like being really close to each other and connecting. What do we do now? So it's been a real asset to be able to talk to other people that are trying to figure out the very same things we are. I love that you guys are all like, yay, talk to me. I have to say, for anybody that's hanging on here, one of the things I like to share is that when I went through in the class of 2017, and I remember the night before opening day. So our opening day was in January, and it was cold and it was snowy and icy, and I had those jitters that you got like right before you would go to school, like you would start like 5th grade, where you're like, oh gosh, what class am I going to be in? Is that the point where we have lockers, or am I going to know, like, now I have to move classes? Am I going to know how to get from one spot in the school to another spot in the school? Who's going to be in my class? What am I going to wear? I had all those same thoughts running through my head as an adult. Like, how crazy is that? We're still sort of stuck in that space. But one of the things that I just so much loved about opening day is that it was really an opportunity to take off your name tag. Nobody really, you want to know what someone does for as a profession, but that's not what that day is about. It's not there. You're not there to talk about what you do for a living. You're not there to really talk about really anything about yourself. You're there. Everybody starts at the very same place on that day. And that is the beauty of when the connections happen. The day is facilitated, and the exercises and activities that the class participates in just naturally lead to this bond that gets created, that I know if you talk to anybody that's gone through the program, they'll say the exact same thing, that there is something truly, truly unique about this program. And it's so uncommon that we get an opportunity as adults to like put everything else aside, put your work aside, put your family obligations aside, and really just focus on something for you and learn new things and become inspired to do new things. So it's a phenomenal experience.